Nigeria's political stage is heating up again, and this time, two major names are in the spotlight: Kenneth Okonkwo and Bola Ahmed Tinubu. One is an actor turned politician known for changing political homes. The other is a seasoned political giant facing a growing list of critics, some of whom are using his own past words against him. From party switches to past protests, the latest developments reveal how Nigerian politics is often a game of memory, strategy, and public perception. Kenneth Okonkwo, famous for his legendary Nollywood role in Living in Bondage, is now making waves, not on screen, but in politics. Once a member of the APC, the All Progressives Congress, then a strong supporter of Peter Obi under the Labour Party in 2023, Kenneth Okonkwo has now tilted towards Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP. Rumors say he might even be Atiku's new spokesperson. But why the shift? Okonkwo says only a politically experienced figure like Atiku can defeat President Tinubu in the 2027. He points to Tinubu's long political career, from the 1993 election drama to the ruling Lagos, and finally defeating Atiku and Obi in the last election, 2023. But the internet isn't buying it at all. On social media, many Nigerians now see Kenneth as a political marketer, always moving to where the wind blows. Some call him inconsistent. Others accuse him of jumping ship for personal gain. His praise of Atiku and sudden criticism of Obi left many surprised, especially since he once championed Obi as a hope for a new Nigeria. Yet, behind the backlash lies a bigger question. Is political experience more important than principles? And can Nigerians still trust politicians who keep changing their message?
By any officer of the middle or lower cadre never succeeded in Nigeria. Whether from Kaduna and Zogo, whether through Boka Soka Dinka, whether through Oka. And there is a reason for that. And that is why in Nigeria, we need a man of conscience who is experienced, who might even be from the old cadre, but has made up his mind that he wants a new Nigeria. If you're expecting a younger person to come in the midst of these sharks, they will swallow him up. And I'm telling you, an Obama can come to Nigeria and will not win election. Not because people will not vote for him, but they will steal it from him. So what we have now in Nigeria is that we have a system that needs to be fought, that needs to be taken out.
Can you trust the people we are seeing in that video? That the new wave of Nigerian politicians that are going to cause change? Because if some people have said Nigerians rejected PDP,
Yes.
you are saying Nigerians no longer like APC, but these are a combination of the two parties.
Okay, now let's look at it this way. Assuming an Atiku comes into power, assuming, and takes us back to the Obasanjo years, he would have been a hero. He would have paid up all our debts. He would not acquire new debts. He would have made sure there's no security problem all around Nigeria. He was the vice president. I'm just using him as an example because he's the only person that has been in the presidency from 1999. Assuming he can even take us, because it is the terribleness of the successive government that keeps beatifying the predecessors. I never knew any government would be worse than Buhari's government. I must be very honest with you.
Are you saying that the Tinubu government is
the worst in the history of this country?
Is that fair to say?
How would
Based
I,
on the policy direction of this government?
how would I define a president that from the first day in office, when even there is a law that says fuel subsidy will go by June 30th, and the first thing you were able to say, fuel subsidy gone. And
while Kenneth Okonkwo is switching sides, President Bola Tinubu is facing ghosts from his past. A throwback video from 2012 recently went viral. In it, Tinubu, then in opposition, called on Nigerians to protest against Goodluck Jonathan government over corruption and bad governance. Fast forward to today, Tinubu is now president, and Nigerians are protesting against his own administration over inflation, fuel prices, hardship, insecurity, Boko Haram, this and that. The irony hasn't gone unnoticed. Critics are using that old video to question his leadership, accusing him of doing the very things he once opposed. Protesters even say Tinubu's current government is no better than the one he attacked in 2012. Very sad indeed.
But they will forget the other one. That is what they are doing with your money. Not enough that they are stealing from our children tomorrow for lack of investment in education. They are still embezzling the retirement benefit of hardworking Nigeria, including our grandfathers. They are stealing the port, the treasury, not even leaving some coins for us to war with. Let them be out now.
But there is more. Tinubu's role in Nigeria's pro-democracy movement is under fresh debate. Former Jigawa Governor Sule Lamido recently claimed that Tinubu was never really a hero of the June 12, 1993 election crisis. According to Lamido, Tinubu supported the military regime that annulled the election before later joining the pro-democracy group NADECO. NADECO means National Democratic Coalition.
Well, the secretary of the party. And with all respect to him, you see, he was part of those people who were supporting Babangida's annulment of June 12. He was part of it. His own mother, Haja Mogaji from Lagos, was organizing legal marking women to come to Abuja to pledge, support for Babangida. I'm saying this because it's simply history. I mean no harm. I mean don't mean to embarrass him. But then you see, he was actively handing gloves to Babangida. Now, when Babangida saw the fact that he was having a problem with the party, he went to the National Assembly to address them. One infamous speech was, they are trying to incite you. It's you they are against. Tinubu was there, and IU became very, very firm and straight on the issue of June 12. He called a meeting, then being the only senior elected person in government at that time, as Senate President. He convened a meeting in Edo, in Benin, we went there with the governor, where we went there and reaffirmed our commitment to June 12. All right? Babangida was so angry with IU. When he came back, he removed him and put in a better arrow. He put in there so that they can be aligned to Babangida, political kind of machinations. So when Tinubu today, after being a Nigerian president, decided to rewrite history, trying to maybe deconstruct history and then rewrite it, then it is very, very amusing because he was part of the Babangida's support of June 12. He was part of it. Now, it was only when Abacha took over government that Tinubu then became a so-called activist of June 12. Not only him, all those who are talking about June 12 in NADECO, I mean no harm, I mean no disrespect. I'm simply saying what happened during that time. All of them, those people in NADECO, where were they on June 11? They had no part in June 12. They are not part of June 12 campaign. They are not part of the June 12 activities. What they are never, because most of them are saying they should down look. All of them. Because they know believe they won't work out. So when Abiola won the election, and then after the annulment, they are all very, very passive. But suddenly after Abacha came on board, removing Sonekam, they became activists. They formed NADECO. NADECO was opposed to Abacha, was opposed to election formation. NEDECO was something which was formed, to fight Abacha, not to fight democracy, not to fight junta. So whatever Tinubu is doing today is simply reconstructing history the way he thinks is going to fit his own political interests. But then obviously he was a major supporter of Babangida. Ask Babangida, ask him. So when you talk about, ordinary June 12, what are those characters? Ebute Ere, somebody who replaced Ayu for June 12? Who are the others? All of them. So he ran away. We stayed behind. We fought Junta. We fought Abacha. I was detained, because of my fight, but I was detained. He was detained. So all of us, Adamu Churuma, Bola Ege, Yoche Ayu, Kweme, and many others.
However, respected figures like Professor Well Shoinga and human rights lawyer Femi Falana strongly disagree. They both say Tinubu played a big part in the June 12 struggle, providing funds, he gave shelter, he pushed for justice and all that. Shoinka even shared how Tinubu once printed bonds to fund resistance against Abacha's regime. So, who is telling the truth now? That's up to Nigerians to decide. But the renewed attention on Tinubu's past shows how, in politics, history can return at any time and sometimes bite back. From Kenneth Okonkwo's political zigzag to Tinubu's haunting past, one thing we must understand. Nigerian politics is not short of drama. It is full of shifting loyalties, it's full of recycled speeches and power moves that often make the people wonder who is truly for the country and who is for themselves. Anyway, as 2027 approaches, more realignments will happen. Old species will resurface. Politicians will be reminded that Nigerians are watching and they remember. So the big question now is, will history repeat itself or will the people write a new story? Only time will tell.
Chairman of the 5th Bola Tinubu Colloquium.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, I trust you. Lagos broke there. Mr. Chairman, wherever you are, ladies and do me a great favor of beginning this, what should be a celebratory event with a solemn moment. We're losing people too fast. It's very depressing. At the same time, we take delight, joy in remembering what they stood for and what they contributed to our very Segun Wole Awolowo. Please, a moment in memory of those two figures. May their souls rest in peace. Amen. Thank you very much. Now, let me try and break the mood very quickly by beginning by telling you a little personal anecdote about this person in whose name is a colloquium series been inaugurated. You see, many people know Bola, many aspects of him, but me, I treasure personal, very. As you know, he was a fugitive offender, like many of us here. Many other things, former governor of Lagos State, but see, and a businessman, or some of us within the anti-Abacha movement would not have survived. But then even for businessmen, successful businessmen, there comes the crunch. And during our period of exiled resistance, we looked for all kinds of means to raise funds, including even trying to print redeemable bonds. I think we did print redeemable bonds. We were so confident of victory that we said, look, let's print bonds and sell those bonds, and the opposition triumphs. And we designed those bonds. Incidentally, you may not remember this, apparently the symbol that we used during that time, which was supposed to be symbolic of growth, because it was a shrub. Apparently, that shrub looked very much like marijuana. We didn't know it at the time. Somebody pointed it out later on. But finally, Bola said, what are we going to do? We have to find the funds. I said, well, you're the businessman. What can you do? He said, well, I've heard that there's a rice line between Taiwan and other places. I think that I can get a contract to sell rice between Taiwan and Africa. So I said, well, okay, go ahead and sell rice. He said, yes, but you see, they require letters of recommendation. And I said, well, so I said, you have to write one. I said, me, I don't know anything about rice. I don't know anything about business. Well, laureate, write and say, we're trading in rice. Give the letter to me. I will take it to the government of Taiwan, and they will supply the rice. I will sell. I will use the money for the revolution. Then, after I came, we all came back. My house had been more or less made inhabitable, and I took a sort of pied-à-terre, a small place in Lagos where my house was being fixed. I began living there, but I found the work was so slow, so that I stayed in Lagos for some time. So I got this bare house, which was in fact destroyed already, and the owners wanted to get rid of the house, fortunately, reasonably cheap. And so we moved in there, this unfurnished place, and suddenly a vehicle rolled up, and what did it contain? In fact, I thought it contained rice, leftover rice from Taiwan, but it was pots and pans. I mean, what more essential thing do you require if you're moving into an unfurnished building? You need to cook. His wife, Remy, sitting there, had thought about these details and sent pots and pans and fridge or whatever to the house to enable myself and my family to survive until my house was repaired in Ogun State. And there are a few other things, but I won't tell them here. I was delighted the younger generation wanted to use his birthday as a platform to voice their ideas. Difficult as it was, accepted immediately. I went so far as to make a tiny change in the title to show them that I was involved. I was not just coming as a figurehead of a chairman. I said, if you want me to be chairman, I want just little change so you know that I actually believe in what you're doing. It was purely semantic, but if you analyze it very thoroughly, you know there was a reason why I made that very little change. Because let's face it, this nation brink. Those who don't understand this, those who don't accept this, I feel very sorry that they'll wake up and find that we've fallen over the brink. It's not what we envisaged when we struggled for independence. It's not what we envisaged when we struggled to overthrow dictatorships and install the right and the dignity of human beings, our citizens in society. But whether we like it or not, it has come upon us. My problem with the government right now, especially, and let me be direct and personal, the president of this nation, is that he doesn't seem to realize it. He has not taken the people of this nation into confidence. By now, it is my belief that the president should be addressing the nation. And if he agrees, that is, that this nation is at war, and that certain things have to be done to ensure that we pull back from this second round of what is moving towards a civil war. That, of course, is if he and his government accept it. By now, we should be tightening our belts in many, many different directions. By now, we should never have persuaded ourselves to see what was happening in the North as being confined in the North. I mean, it has been obvious all along that this is not a Northern affair alone. No. And when I read in the papers the other day that some cells have been found and people have been found in Lagos, planning to blow up Lagos, my attitude was, what's new? We said this ages before on our podium that, wait a minute, this is not, it's happening there. But believe me, it's happening everywhere. And this consciousness, I believe, should have been imparted to Nigerian citizens from the very beginning, at least 2 years ago, so that everyone understands that the problem we're facing right now is not just regional, it's national, it's a humanistic problem. I don't remember much about my Bible days. I've long left Bible and become a kefiri or whatever you want to call me, you know. But what I remember, maybe because my field is language and symbols and metaphors, I remember the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. I can't remember precisely what they were, but I know that they were terrible plagues. There's a 5th, and it's called Boko Haram. And that is the kind of language I believe that the leadership of this nation should be imparting to Nigerian citizens today. I will not take up much of your time. I want to thank the generation, the younger generation, who've utilized to reinstate our humanistic consciousness by speaking, I expect, even beyond politics, beyond mergers, beyond political, beyond regionalism, and of course beyond ethnicism, beyond religion. To use vision of the world. This is our vision of the nation. This is our vision of wherever they happen to be. So thank you very much for turning up in such large numbers. I'm going to preside from there, and then somebody there. You know, it's very convenient because unfortunately there was a miscommunication, and I thought this event was this morning, and in fact I have an engagement not, very shortly. So thank you once again for listening. I think I've taken up too much of your time, Mr. Master of Ceremonies.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, all other protocols observed, except the fact that in glowing tribute to Elijah and Abiola on this occasion, we must congratulate in particular the members of the Abiola family while we commemorate this occasion. It is important for us to celebrate Elijah Abiola. In celebrating her, we are celebrating the triumph of democracy. I have looked at the high table and I have discovered that on the 4th of June 1996, some members of the high table were either in detention or in exile. I can see the governor himself, who was then jumping from London to New York, as occasions might dictate. I can also see his comrade, Senator Polycarp Wike, who was among other 3 senators charged with the governor with treason by Abacha. I was away in Mawadashi village, very close to the Nigerian border, languishing in custody there. I spent 9 months that year in custody. I was there when Elijah Abubakar was killed, so I was helpless. But my greatest joy when I learned of the death and the burial arrangement was the statement credited to Elijah Abubakar. And this will surprise all of us when Ọ̀ṣun. I understand our mother. Wọ́n wí fún Oyinlọ́lá, ìyá wa Mọ́gàjí bí Oyinlọ́lá lérè pé ẹ ti ọkọ mọ́lẹ̀ ẹ tó pa ya rẹ̀. Ìyíwá dàbí. In other words, Elijah was asking the federal government through Oyinlọ́lá, you have locked up a man, you have also killed his wife. I want to commend the Abiola family. I want to commend Lagos State government for organizing this ceremony and for naming this road after that woman that contributed so much towards our having today. In particular, I want to commend our children who are now referred to as orphans of democracy. Their mother was killed, their father was killed in this struggle. But we are happy that we are here today. On behalf of the human rights community, I want to thank the Lagos State government for naming this street after a great woman. We are happy that we already know those who kill Kudirat. Very soon, by the time the Okuta Commission reconvenes in Abuja, I can assure you we are going to know the actual killers of Basharon Abiola. After this knowledge, after the information has been passed to all of us, we must insist that justice is done. And what Lagos State government is doing today is to do justice in its own way to this great woman. I want to thank all of you for coming and to say that, and I think the governors say, and the Americans will say, that it's not yet over until it is over. Before I wind up, let me make this disclosure because it is very important, and I hope I won't be embarrassing the governor of Lagos State. Until a few months ago, the governor and I used to have a shouting match over the fact that nothing was going on. You had those mountains of heaps, rubbish all over. And one day I was talking to the governor and somebody asked me when I was leaving, are you the one they voted for in Lagos? Why is it your business to be harassing the governor? And I told the fellow, and I informed the fellow, that if Governor Bola Tinubu fails, the pro-democracy movement will have failed. All the activists will have failed. Today we are all happy that things are moving in Lagos State. And I want to say publicly that and I hope you are going to join me in singing that song that we sang when Kudirat was killed. Oro ńlá lọ́ndà, oro ńlá lẹ́dà, oro ńlá lẹ́dà, oro ńlá lẹ́dà. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ pa Kudirat tẹ́ ọ̀já ó dàgbà o.